Hello everybody, my name is Michaela Mavis and I am here to show you my home garden and hopefully persuade you into building your own home garden. So the very first thing I do want to talk about is this amazing pear tree that we have. We've had this for a couple of years now. Granted, the pears only get to be like this big, but I feel like here in a couple of years the pears will be able to be edible and we will have a lot of pears to eat. I'm talking about a lot of pears. Now the great thing about this tree, it is actually really small. Now the bigger pear trees that you see around town, those are actually not technically considered pear trees. They are kind of like a fake pear tree. They actually don't grow pears. And it's kind of funny because they kind of smell really bad when they start blooming. I know PCC had a bunch of those fake pear trees, but the smaller ones are considered to be pear trees. All right, now this is our home garden. We have over here, we have built a fence along the side of our property. We have about an acre of land out in Pueblo West, and so we just took a corner and we just decided to try to build our own garden. Now over here we have a lot of, I believe these are going to be blackberries in here. So at first you can see that they turn red when they're not ripe, and as the season goes on they turn black. As you can see, there's a couple, oh, these are good ones right here. Some really good blackberries in here. We do have quite a few of them this year, which is great because my family loves blackberries. These little flowers over here, they were so pretty when they bloom, but they only bloom for about a couple of weeks and then they die off. All right, so this is our little garden. This year it has gone crazy. We have had so much vegetation that it is just out there. Over here is our, it's a very small biodegradable compost system. We do take the dirt and we kind of try to shovel it on top so that animals kind of don't get the scraps and everything. We haven't had a problem with that. But I do think it's because we have our fencing going all throughout our property. So I feel like that helps out, keep the animals out. As you can see, we have just quite a few berries. Okay, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Quite a few berries in here. So this is our berry bush. It did just kind of take over. It is just huge. We do have a couple of squashes over here. These things have gotten huge. Like, we have just actually picked a bunch of them. These ones are still not ripe yet, but we picked a bunch of them and they get massive. And we use squash for a lot of different foods. Like, we like just to grill squash. It is actually very healthy for you and everything like that. And my family has been on this crazy health diet going on. We have a bunch of these onions as well. These are green onions and they are so tasty. I love putting them in just about everything and anything. Now, my family, we planted a bunch of these marigolds around our garden. We don't use pesticides because, you know, and you can use different other plants to help with the control of the pest. So we don't really like to use pesticides within our garden. Just, you know, just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem safe to be eating it. We do have a drip system going on, if I can find one. Our drip system we just actually put in this year. It is just a bunch of these little hoses and they have these little red things, and on the red things, if I can find one, it goes throughout the garden, and I don't know if you can see that little red thing right there, and it's a drip system. So we do have like a sprinkler system going on through that, oh, I found one, through this garden, but we don't turn it on very much. And we've actually gotten quite a bit of rain lately, But yes, it's just like a little kind of like a little sprinkling system, but it's not. And it helps control the amount of water that goes through and directly into the soil and into the plants, so they do get that water instead of getting it within the atmosphere. Over here, I think we have just a bunch of those squashes. See, those are big ones down there. And these little trees right over here, we just got this year. They are actually plum trees, and they really haven't gotten that big this year. They were kind of very small when we got them, and I'm not too sure how they're going to work out, but we do have quite a few weeds and grass, and we just did that last weekend. So this is the pile of grass and weeds that we just pulled up. So yes, with a garden, it does take a lot of time, a lot of patience. But overall, the benefits of having your at-home garden they outweigh, anything. We can come out here, we can go and pick up a squash. If we're feeling like we want to have eggplant parmesan, we can come out here and just pick it up and just eat it. And it's so much better than the store-bought stuff. I feel like it has more flavor, it feels more natural, and it's just so good. Over here, I want to say these are like a banana pepper or even jalapenos. I can't remember exactly what kind of pepper this is, but you could see peppers do really, really good within our climate and within our soil. These are, I believe, another pepper. So they do really, really good here. Peppers are really, especially like Pueblo green chili peppers, they just do amazing out in this soil. And yeah, it does take a little bit of time to research. We had to do a soil test to make sure like our soil back here is good for our plants, and soil out in Pueblo is not very good. It doesn't have a lot of iron in it, so it lacks a lot of iron, so that's why we don't have very much vegetation out here. So you do have to do some research. You do have to try to make sure that the soil is good. But after this is all gone, we've plucked everything, and we are going to take it and we're going to just re-put it into the ground, try to nourish that soil. So we don't just grow one thing, we have a variation of different crops, which it really does help with the different, or what am I trying to say? Where it helps with the pest as well. So we kind of done a little bit of research on that. These are tomato plants over here. They're not too big. We kind of have a hard time growing tomato plants, but they're doing pretty good. There's a lot of them, but they're just not quite ripe yet. So yeah, it is not that big. I'd say about 100 maybe square feet. I'm not too good at that kind of stuff, but it's just a small home garden. Yes, it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of work, but the benefits that come out of this is way more than what goes in it. You don't just get these types of vegetation. As you can see all around me, there's these different butterflies that come and they help pollinate our different plants. So the nature out here is just outstanding. So with the environment, we're trying to help re-nourish it, and we're doing that with our small at-home garden. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys build your own garden as well.